On to French polls now. Well, after the French elections produced no clear majority for one political party or bloc, lawmakers are debating behind the scenes who might be able to lead the government. And it comes as President Macron heads to Washington, D.C., despite some of his team reportedly suggesting against it, which is interesting with the country's governance so uncertain. DD India's Stuart Smith reports.
Deadlock remains here in Paris as politicians from all sides of the political spectrum try to work out a potential path to government. After the shocking election result as it appeared on Monday, it's clear that there is no majority in Parliament that could be the obvious candidate to create a government and to nominate a Prime Minister, which means negotiations and debates about who could potentially align enough of the lawmakers to create a government. There seems to be no rush. President Macron going to Washington, D.C. for the NATO summit on Wednesday. He postponed that trip by a day, but there is a sense of urgency in that until a government is arranged and until a Prime Minister is selected, there can be no legislation passed in France. A deadline of sorts is coming up. That's on July 18th when lawmakers head back to Parliament for the first time, some returning, some new to Parliament, and that's when we will start to know what kind of blocs are forming in the legislature. There were, of course, those political alliances that we saw throughout the election, but those are not necessarily the groupings we'll see in Parliament. So once that date comes, there'll be a better idea about which MPs, which political parties are happy to work with others. But throughout Monday and Tuesday, we've heard politicians from the right say they wouldn't work with a government that's on for the left. We've heard centrist politicians rule out the far left and the far right. So everyone is ruling out everyone else, making this a very difficult debate to have. And it means that there could potentially be weeks or months before we get an outcome as to who will lead France. Stuart Smith in Paris, reporting for DD India.